Hi friends, Christine here, and I want to welcome you to my channel if this is the first time you're visiting, or if you're returning, I'm happy to have you back, and I appreciate all of your support and your inspiration, so let me try and give a little back to you. So this is a kit tips tutorial, but it has some really fun elements, and it's for an insert of journal folio, which I haven't done in a long time. So I got really excited by it, and I think the project is great, and I hope that you like it too. But first, I want to ask you a question. I had the weirdest thing happen the other day, and I want to know if this ever happened to you. So while I was making the prototype for this project, I was gluing some things together, and I grabbed a jar of my basic Fabri-Tac Family glue, and I unscrewed the top, and I went to add the glue and hold it. The entire top came off and the glue poured onto the paper. Now thankfully the project was on the table, but it was underneath the paper I was putting glue on. But look at this, it just it broke off like in a whole piece. Has this ever happened? I mean, I was floored. I didn't really even know what to do when it happened as all the glue and the glab started pouring out. Now, luckily, I folded the piece of paper that was covered with glue and was able to keep it off my project, and I wound up dumping it back into a container. But it was a lot of glue. I mean, it was like a half cup of glue. Anyway, I just thought that was an interesting thing, and I don't know what the deal with this was. I hope this never happens again. But it was a good lesson to me to remember to protect your work. So I should not have had the project on the table beneath what I was working on. So anyway, so there you go. Okay, so what we have today is this folio insert kit, and I really love it, and I hope that you take away some ideas from it and do something even more wonderful and exotic with it. So they're basically all the same, but they're not. So let's concentrate on these two. This was the first prototype, and it's a little bit different, and we'll talk about that. So what does it do? Well, it has a pocket on the cover, and you could obviously adorn it more. And then it opens up like so. And then this little dove flaps open to reveal yet more. So the whole idea for this kit came from one of my Ko-fi members who mentioned when I asked the group, like, do you have a totem animal or a spirit animal or a favorite animal? And Jerry Lynn came back with I like doves and ravens, and she definitely joined them together. So I thought after I did the original artwork for that project that I would actually do a dove and raven kit, because the dichotomy and yet the cooperation between the two, the dark, the light, the peaceful, the aggressive, really that teaches us so much. So anyway, so enough about the philosophy behind the kit. So this is what I came up with, and I love that it's super eclectic. Like, it looks like maybe you just went digging around in your stash and came up with this whole host of elements that don't go together and yet do. So a couple of things. One is I do have some feathers in my kit, so you'll have to add your own if you want them. And I know some people don't like feathers. That's fine. Leave them out. What else does it have? It has a little mini journal that I show you how to make, and it requires 0 sewing. And that's Dove Wisdom. It has cards, tags galore. It has a crazy amount of tags. I couldn't stop myself. Some are big, small, medium. So this one, they all have a pocket here too. So let's go to this one. Same thing. I did change this from the original. And this was a kit I made. I made this page from a different kit, but I had to remake this so that I could show you how to put the bow on, because I forgot. You'll see in the video. But anyway, so we have this big tag here that could go here in this one. we wanted. Okay, this is a little tuck spot, and so you can put anything you want there. And same thing here. You know, this kit, this all except for these 2 pages came from, and these came from the bunny kit, by the way. Everything came from the kit that we're dealing with today. So I just changed it up and used it a little differently. So that I could make a different kind of kit. And this one has a red focus on the cover and doesn't have the flap where the dove comes away from the raven. What else? I know I'm forgetting things. So let me just see. Because they all have a little bit different things. Let me see on this one. This was the original design, and I figured, you know, we'd put a pocket or something on it, but then I changed it to journal space. So this is different, but everything else is similar. And here again, big tag. I mean, you can't have a raven without Edgar Allan Poe, right? So there's the overall overview of what we're doing here. More. Take these out, and again, there's so many tags and so many different kinds of tags, so you can really have a lot of fun mixing and matching and building your own sort of vibe and aesthetic. So that's it. It's not thick. It'll fit right into a journal. Oh, there's a back. Or you could just glue it down into your journal. It does fit into a typical journal. So like, let's find a blank page. It could be glued in like so, and then it would open up into a larger page. So that's what we're doing today. Again, I hope it's something that floats your boat, and it's good to see you all or engage with you all. I hope that you're all having a good creative time, and I'll see you next time. But don't go away. We've got a lot of fun. Oh, and just how easy this is. This is so incredibly easy to put together. I know that it looks maybe a little complicated with all the fold out, fold out, fold out, but it's not. It goes together in minutes. Let's get to work. So let's start with printing. Printing is simple and straightforward, I think. The majority of the pages will be printed on something like the 90-pound index, which is like 65-pound cardstock, but a little bit lighter. So I really like this material because it gives lots of flexibility and also lets you create a folio that's not too thick and bulky. So, like I said, the majority of the pages will be printed on that. And then there's the mini journal we're going to make. And for that, I did use 65-pound cardstock for the cover. And I printed on both sides. And then I printed the signatures on regular copy paper. So, again, both sides so that they're covered. And then for any of the tags, I printed it on 110-pound cardstock. It's pretty hefty, and printed on the back so that there would be a pattern on the back side. You don't have to do that. It's completely optional. So a couple of things about printing these pages. In the kit, it does say, there's a little line here that doesn't print, but you can read it in the computer, that says, print with pattern of your choice on reverse side. So for this page, you print this and then print any pattern you like on the other side. And then certain things don't print at all. This page is the actual flap for the dove, and I didn't want anything bright and glaring sticking out in the crease, so I have this in the file, and you could just print it on the other side of this or not. You could just run magic marker in that crease. You could do some inking, whatever makes you happy. And then other pages say along here, it does say print this page on the reverse of the other page with the blue square. And that's just an indication of print this on the back of this. Now again, this is to make the kit as we showed it, as I made it originally, the prototype. You can make anything you want. These are just guidelines. Everything I do is just a guideline. So then there's, again, this is going to be a pocket, doesn't need anything on the other side. And then here are some others I printed at different sizes, thinking you know, maybe I want that. This is one of the pages that didn't, it says here, print with nothing on the reverse side. Both of these are going to get glued down. Nothing is needed. And this is an extra. So once you've printed everything, and it goes very quickly, then we want to trim. And basically trimming requires just cutting off the white parts. So trim to the artwork. And this one is meant to be the pocket on the front. And there are two choices. So this was the prototype. Pick one. It's your choice. I think, I don't know, maybe I'll make this one. We'll see. I'll choose as I go. And so these you ultimately will cut in half. And it will be a pocket. So let me go and cut these down, and then we'll come back and get to work. All right, so I have everything cut out for the main structure and the mini journal. And a note about the dove flap. I do include it in two orientations, this way and this way, because this will become the other side. So you want to print both if you're going to do that. I also will include a JPEG of the artwork, so if you're using a Cricut or some other cutting machine, it's easier to deal with it that way than in the PDF. So just letting you know that. And so now we just want to begin our construction. And this is so simple, so simple. Well, why don't we start with this first? This is the mini journal. And I've cut it down, trimmed off all the white, and now I'm just going to fold it in half. And this will be the easiest little journal you ever make, no sewing. Okay, and then I did the signatures, same thing, fold it in half, and look at that, I'm not even scoring anything. Aren't you proud of me? Okay, then we want to take our chompers and, well, it's actually easier if we do it this way. I want to do I'll do it smaller. Let's see how we like it. I'm doing the 1/4 inch side of the chomper. Yeah, why not? Something a little more delicate. And I'm doing all sides. I'm going to stick this in here. Now, as you know, when you fold paper, they bulge a little bit. So we want to trim them before we chomp them. So to do that, the easiest way is to just line up with the cover and with a sharp knife, very gently run across the edge. And the pages will begin to move away until you're left with perfectly aligned pages. So now we still want to do the little chomp. We're going to stay on the 1/4 inch side. And if you've got a little white edge like this, I could have trimmed it off. You can also simply ink it and make it sort of disappear. Okay, so this goes into here. Now we're going to take a piece of embroidery floss. And we're going to stick it right in the middle. Let's see, make sure I have a piece long enough. And we're going to open up our signatures so that we have the middle. And you could decide if you want the bow on the inside or the outside. And then we're just going to tie it in a bow. Actually, tie it in a knot. All right. Now I'm just going to pull that and snip it. And there we go. Nice little journal, easy peasy, all done, ready for insertion later. Of course, we're going to ink the edges, but I'm going to not ink to save time. All right, so that was simple. So now we're going to begin construction. So let's see. Let us see. All right, so this is ultimately my cover. And again, feel free to move things around and use anything you want. This is what will be the back, and this is the middle, okay? So first, let's just fold everything in half. So we want to fold the crow side out, and then give it a nice press. We're going to fold this one art in. And then this is the cover. So this will be the inside flap. And this is the inside flap as well. And you do want to make sure that you've done a good job and, you know, that that's straight. This is the pocket on the cover, and this is the flap we're going to add. So the first thing we're going to do is open this up and open up our crow. This is going to get glued into here. So one thing I want to do, however, is make sure that everything still closes, okay? So sometimes it's not a bad idea to trim the ever littlest bit off an edge that's going to be in a fold. And I'm talking like eyelash. I mean, just enough to give it a little room to breathe. All right, so the next thing I know I want to do in here is I want a pocket, a thumb thing. You know what I mean. So I want to get my big chomper, and I want to go at least halfway in because I want it visible. So I'm going about halfway into the circle here. And not more than that though, because that'll make it a weird circle shape. So let's say about half is there. Okay, so this I am going to ink now while it's easy to get to. Okay, so this is going to become a pocket on this page. So now to do that, we're going to use the general pocket method, and that is down one side, the bottom, and you do want to stay as close to the edge as you can because you want the most amount of pocket. Okay, that looks a little sparse. There we go. Now make sure we're going in the right direction. And I'm going to put this right in here. And again, we want to make sure that everything still lines up. It's always a good idea to come over here to the other side and line everything up this way as well. Okay. There we go. It's a beautiful thing. All right, now we'll give that a little time to dry. It's not entirely flat, even at the bottom. So let's pull it down. There we go. That's, again, just double checking. Yeah, that's good and close. That's all good. Done. Okay, so now we have what will be the cover and the flap. So here, all we have to do is line this up. And again, anytime you have something that's going to be in the fold in here, it's never bad to give it a little trim. Nobody's going to miss it. Oh, it's hard to see on this dark table. So there, just a little eyelash. Okay, so this is easy. All we have to do is glue our cover. Okay, and like so. Okay, same thing, we want to flip it over and make sure that it still fits in here and that everything closes. Okay, so this is still going to get trimmed. I'm not worried about that. Okay, there we go. Halfway done. Seriously. In fact, more than half. So now we're going to deal with the bird. And here we definitely want to take off, oh, probably closer to a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch. We really do want to make this shorter because we are going to add paper in here, and it's going to go into a crease. So I've taken what appears to be about a 1/16 of an inch. That might be enough. We'll double check before we glue. Okay, so it definitely does fold in here nicely. That's all good. So now we have our dove. And here's the dove that we want to go here, and then this dove will go on the back. So let's deal with her first. And you can see here I did the dark so that it doesn't, otherwise it would scream out light if I didn't, if it was this one, for example. And that would just look nasty to me. So again, you don't have to print on the back. You could just use a magic marker or something else. So the first thing we want to do with our dove is score the fold. And we're going to do that by, you see up here, this area here, that is where we want the fold to be. And this will become a flap, and that will be a fold. So the easiest way to do that is to line it up on a line so it's straight. So that's straight. So now I've got this lined up, and I'm going to just put that here and lightly with the back of my knife score it. You could use a stylus if you prefer, with a tiny little point, however you like to do it. So now that it's done, now that it's scored, I'm going to fold it on that line. All right, so once I do that, then I want to come here and miter these corners. Just enough so that they don't poke out from the bottom. Okay? Now, you just have to stick some glue, but it's always good to dry fit first. Okay, see how it lines up? And it's almost like it's part of the photo. Because it is part of the photo. Okay, so another thing, it's your choice. If you want to, this area here, we could cut that off. I left it on a straight angle following that, but it's really unnecessary. Oh, I should have done it after I did the other, but I put on the other side, but it doesn't really matter. All right, so now just putting some glue along my flap. And I'm going to put it back on. Again, lining it up as best I can, making the artwork appear to be one piece, and then making sure that it's still going to fit when it folds. Yes, we're still good. And there we go. So now we want our other bird. Oh, I had some gluage, and we definitely don't want that to stick together. So let's get rid of that. Yeah, don't use as much glue as me. Pretty much ever. Where's my little eraser? Let's erase that glue. Much better. Okay, so now this guy, or gal, we know we want to trim because we definitely don't want that jamming up in this corner. So we can trim this. Oops. Again, because we have this dark spot in here, we can be pretty generous with our trim. So I'm going to trim it to here, and that should be good. I'm just going to take off basically the flap that we use to attach to here. All right, that's great. So now we're going to glue this to this so it's covered. But I also want to put a pocket in here. So I'm going to come here and just sort of wing a pocket. Okay, and now I'm just going to glue. So I'm going to glue all this area up here and then just the pocket area down here. You'll see. So then I'm just going to go around the edge here and around the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to line it up with the bird that's already cut out. Okay, so there you can see there. And it takes a second, and this we're going to cut off. So you have to decide what part is the most important for you to have aligned correctly. And I spilled more glue, but that's pretty good. I want to make sure we get that glue out of the way. But now you can see, because we printed on the other side of this flap, that this is filled in, and that's much better. All right, everything else looks good. That's beautiful. I'm going to take my adhesive scissors and retrim that, and then make sure that it's all stuck the way I want. And that looks pretty perfect, actually. And then, of course, I would ink all of this just to get rid of that white edge of 2 pieces of paper. But there you have it. So that's how simple this really is. Oops, see, that glue snuck out again. Make sure that it's gone, which it now is. So now we have this little flap here, which of course bothers me. So I am going to make a pocket here and cover it up like so. Okay, so I'm going to get my chomper and put a little chomp somewhere near the middle. And again, just kind of winging it. And then I'm going to ink this edge because, you know, it's white. And then I'm going to put this in place here. And the only thing is, we want to make sure that it's aligned to the edge. Okay, and cover that up. So again, we're dealing with general pocket principles here. And don't overdo the glue. So now this can go right here, like so. And cover that up. And it just wants to keep moving. There we go. Okay, and then look at it from the other side. Make sure it's not hanging over in a way you don't like. And there it is. Okay, so now here and here, I know I want another pocket here because I want to put the journal here. Originally I had the journal here, but then every time I opened this up, it flopped. So I am going to now put it over there. I'm going to trim a little bit of this off. And same thing. Now when I originally designed this, I actually put the thumb holes in here, but then realized, I mean, you might want it on the other side, a tuck spot on the other side. So I leave you to make your own thumb notches. Okay, so then this is going to go here. overdo the glue because you'll pay for it in the end. So since we're working in a fold, we do want to be mindful that we're not gluing directly on top of the fold, because again, it'll just get all bound up and you'll be unhappy and I'll be unhappy and we'll all be unhappy. All right, so now I can put a pocket here or anything, but let's just leave that for now. We have our flip out, we have our cover, and we have a little pocket here. So one thing I want to do here is match these curves so that you can see that this opens. So let me find the correct size. I think this is the best size for that. And I'm just aiming the corner of my page into the middle of my chomper, and that should put it kind of mainly even in the corner. Okay, there we go. Now we just have to do the cover. Okay, so for the cover, what I did here, we're going to do that again. So I have this piece of artwork and I want to make it into a pocket. So basically what I wound up doing was choosing the height of it, and you can change that, just cut off what you don't want. But there's something I want you to, I don't want you to just glue this down as a pocket. I want you to actually gusset it a little bit. And to do that, again, we're just going to line this up so it's straight on a horizontal line. And then we're going to score it. So I'm going to put probably about 1/4 of an inch score here on this side. And same on the other. So again, we don't have to be ultra precise, just enough to give it something to grab onto. Okay, so now we have to decide how tall do we want it, and that's going to be up to you. How much do you want to show? So for this one, I think I'm going to do about here. So I'm going to cut off, again, I'm just eyeballing it. You can do the same. Cut this off about here, maybe a little shorter or taller than my original, but it really doesn't matter. Okay, but we want to do the same scoring of about 1/4 inch. Okay, so now that we've scored, we're going to fold on our scores on all 3 sides. Okay, and now that we've done that, we want to miter these corners. Well, it almost doesn't matter because we're going to round them as well. So with your corners, oh, I didn't do that one. With your corners folded in, let's round them. So on that one I used a pretty big one. Yeah, we'll stick with the big one. Put them in, all folded. These are folded down. Don't worry too much about them because we still have to trim them. All right, so now you see we have these funky little things going on. We don't need them. We can just trim them off. Up at the top as well, so we don't have those little tails to deal with. All right, so now let's burnish those down. Give them good tight folds. But by doing this, we give a little bit more room in our pocket. Oh, what didn't I do? I did not do my little thumb hole. So let's just do that now. Again, just eyeballing. There we go. I'm not sure I like the position of that, but we're staying with it. We'll adjust later. Okay, let's get that glue off. Now take our cover and decide where we want our pocket. It's your choice, absolutely your choice. So let's say I'm going to put mine here, little up, little down, sort of in the center. Oh no, I did not show you how to do this part, and I've already glued my pocket down. So I'll do another one and I'll show you on that one. Okay, so now, assuming that stays, and what I like to do when I've put glue on anything is find a piece of scrap paper and make sure that the glue is not sticking where it ought not. All right, so there you see we have the main part is done. That's it. That is it. Now there's still some other things we want to do, and we can do them now. And one is decorating this page if we want. And let's find our little Dove journal. And that can go in here. And we could put other little tags in here. I'm just going to pull them out of this one. So we'll take her. I like her. But there's so many. And you can see on this one, I just put a little tuck spot here so that little things could get tucked in there. Again, this is where you need to get creative and you decide how you want to do things. Okay, and also on this mini journal, I used a scrap and put a tuck spot on the inside. Again, go for it if that's something you'd like to do. So now, let me close this back up for a second. I am going to show you how I did this. And I will do that with another cover. All right, so let me show you how I did this addition, because this is actually attached to this pocket, and I could untie this and take the feather out. So I have, whoops, just dropping everything here. So I have another one that I've made, and I of course changed it up a little. I had this already printed from another kit, so I decided to use that in the middle. And I'm going to get now the other artwork, and I'm going to cut this out. All right, so I have this cut, and I need to decide where I'd like to cut it off so that it has a pocket behind it. You know, there's enough room for a pocket here. So to do that, I'm going to just choose. I really like the tail down here. But if I do that and then I put the thumb thing, then, you know, it's going to cut off his beak, and I don't want that either. So I'm going to take a little off both. And again, I left them full like this so that, I mean, you might want to use this on a whole different page. So I figured, why not just give them an entire image and let the creatives decide what's right for them. Okay, so now as you remember, we want to do about a 1/4 inch score on all these sides. Okay, so now I'm going to take this. I am going to put it in here. I'm not even going to look. Yay, I didn't get his beak. Okay, so now we fold. Fold. And fold. And then we want to chomp our corners. large. And again, don't chomp. If you want square corners, that's cool too. All right, so now we want to come in here and get rid of all of these weird tags that we get. So I'm just going to come in here and clip right to the corner. There we go. All right, so now before we glue it down, we have to make our decisions about our bow. So what do we want to do? We want to put a bow down here. I'm going to use the same color. And this again is the Purple Paper Mountain trim that I like so much. So now I need to decide where I want it to go. And let's find a feather. So here, maybe about there. Maybe I have a smaller feather. I'm going to use a little feather. It doesn't even matter. You could use any kind of feather you want. But all we need to do is figure out where we want it. I think I'm going to have it somewhere around here. So I want to cut 2 slits, X amount apart. I don't know, about 2 inches maybe. How big is this other one? Yeah, it's probably about 2 inches. So I'm just, again, eyeballing it. And I'm going to put the 7 in the middle. And I'm going to come up here. And I'm going to cut on 8 and 6. And again, we might want to be more engineering about it, but I'm not going to be. And then we just want to make sure that our ribbons are going to fit. Okay. That looks good. All right, so now we just want to put our ribbon through the slit. See, that's what I want to make sure it's big enough. There we go. And come on, pull it through. And then do the same on the other side. And why this trim is especially good for this is it's really flat. There we go. Now one thing I want to do here is I want to put some tape because I don't want this pulling aside on, you know, pulling on this paper. So I'm going to pull this out a little. And I'm going to put some tape on both sides of this, just to protect the paper from being pulled too much when we go to tie the bow. So there we go, right in there. And again, that's just going to keep the ribbon from tugging too much on the paper. Okay. You don't need that much, just enough, right? Tuck it right against the slit. All right, so there's that. And now we're going to pull so they're pretty much even. Go more this way. There we go, close enough. And now we want to tape right across here so that as we slide things into this pocket, it doesn't get caught up on the ribbon. So we just want it to be longer than the ribbon. And again, oops, making sure that we're about even. And that will also help the paper not pull the other way. So there it is. That is all I did to put this bow into this pocket. So now where's my little feather? Take the big one, the little one. I think the little one. And I'm going to tie it like so. And then stick this in here. We don't have to do this now. We could glue it on first, but I'll just show you. and then pull. And now just tie it in any bow that you like. Come on. And then make it pretty. However you like it. Put it there. You can pull it down more. But now we still have to glue our pocket to our cover. All right. And here, I'm going to put it about there. And straighten it out because it's very crooked. There we go. And again, you can futz with your feather. Stick this in here, make sure that it's not. Now I'm going to go grab a pocket, a little tag in here, and there you have it. That's simple and something that looks a little different but similar.